Namaskar. Hello and welcome to this very special broadcast from Reaching India. This video is all about uh, priming you to the upcoming recognition of the smart schools of India. Smartness has very many connotations, and in the context with which we are inviting the applications from the smart schools across the country, which will be all felicitated on this forthcoming Indian National Education Day, which is traditionally recognized on 11th of November every year. And this year, it's just after the Festival of Illumination, Festival of Lights. So, in the context of academia, we would be having illumined, way more illumined Indian National Education Day. So the smart schools we are recognizing in the name of a doyen Indian educationist and also a very prominent public figure. He was an academician first, and then he happened to be a public personality. Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, Smart Schools Accreditation for the year 2024, and this would be more of a three-pronged challenge we are throwing at our participating schools who would really like to take on and get themselves accredited as a smart school. And out of the three components, the first one uh, is obviously it's about how the institution, how the school has actually uh, uh, taken the letter and spirit of NEP, the National Education Policy, into its institutional education practices. So NEP would have to have an institutional transliteration, we can say so. So in the very context of that particular school, in the very particular context of that institution, how the school has actually transliterated NEP, especially from the vantage of the 22 odd principles. NEP has 22 guiding principles, so we need an elaborate note as to how the institution has done it, because now it's almost the fourth year running of the NEP. There were COVID disruptions. NEP came on the eve of COVID, we can all say. And again, from an academic, from an intellectual, from an insightful perspective, that is where education comes. Ki vipatti kitni bhi aaye, uncertainty, what we say that VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And it is the academic might, it is an enlightened mind which can traverse it all through. So that is the first very prominent note onto which we invite. That is the first level of the smartness we want to look at. The second one is how the institution has anchored and augmented multiple human intelligences in an integral and intertwined manner in the upcoming age of artificial intelligence. So, the classical theory of Harvard Gardner that there are eight, the fundamental ones, the eight human intelligences, but then they all happen in a person in a very intertwined, integrated fashion. So, what we are looking at it at that how the school, how the smart school, who is aspiring to get accredited, has really done this anchoring and augmentation of multiple human intelligence, how they're playing it around very consciously, how the spatial intelligence or the linguistic intelligence is going to the, I would say, the other dimensions, the mathematical intelligence for that matter. So, how consciously that effort is happening at an institutional level. So, that is the second note, self nomination note as a part of this accreditation we are looking forward. And the third and the very vital aspect, it's quite a challenge. You might be required to actually jot down some really decent reams of paper, and we are all very hungry. We are all very prepared to devour all those elaborate nominations. Just it happens with a lot of accreditations all through. The third dimension is how the institution looks at the subjective and the objective parameters. And this is where we have taken the Rethink India uh, paradigm of expanding the term smart. So, how science and sports are getting synthesized. We had Paris 2024. So, science is one part, but then sports, again, it's a different paradigm altogether. Being in communion with the mother nature, the and a lot of, I would say, multiple intelligences come into the sports part also. So how the science and sports are being juxtaposed in the academic ecosystem. How mathematics and management is not something which you take up after a UG degree, taking a CAT examination, going to one of the IIMs or any of the B schools, management schools. Management style starts right from perhaps the primary grade itself, and that's where we really want to say that. And they say that management is three pronged: managing self, managing people, and managing managers. So at least managing self, how the kids are geared into managing their own timetable, managing their own self, managing their households, their study room. There a lot of things have to be managed by kids. So in that perspective, how mathematics we are all impregnating, and again mathematics, how the philosophical foundations of mathematics, even the numeracy, are we able to associate literals, the numerals, with the cosmic realities? 11, can we link it up with the various cosmic phenomena, or for that matter, 15, or 7, or 5? So we want to look at the innovative paradigms, how we're linking the mathematics to our own cultural, civilizational perspectives. So Sapt, 7 is Saptarishis, we can all say. It's in our in Indic paradigm. So somewhere or the other, it has again a repercussion from the 22 odd principles like pride in the Indian heritage. But then what heritage? Can we link it across? So, so mathematics and management, that's the whole thought process. Then architecture and arts, how we are linking both the disciplines, architecture and arts. Architecture is again not something which you pick up as a discipline, but an awareness and appreciation of architecture. Can we distinguish between a conventional Indian architecture, a temple building, or a school building for that matter, starting with that, or the house, apartment, someone lives in that. So, an appreciation of architecture, and architecture in the larger system design perspective. Are we developing that? Create in the and like they say, software architects. Who is the architect of this application? So, architecting is a broader, is a larger spatial planning paradigm. So, in that context, how the school is faring. And arts obviously it all starts from the primary education itself, but then again, very many dimensions of it all. Then reasoning and rhetoric. So reasoning is more logical, and rhetoric is again the linguistic part of it all. So how these two paradigms are being managed or experimented upon in the smart school. And finally, technology and tradition. So technology is not something which has evolved. New technological tools might have come, the AI, the blockchain, the automation, but then there is a foundation of it all. So what was 10 years back, perhaps that came into a tradition, or 100 years back technology, the traditional water systems we have, that is a foundation of life. So how technology is being juxtaposed with traditional wisdom. So they all say that data, information, knowledge, insights, and wisdom. So how the wisdoms are overlaid with the data paradigm. So we just wanted to have a kind of an open-ended challenge for our smart schools, how they're expanding the envelope of smartness. It is not just about specific measurable, the regular stuff, we all the regular acronyms we talk about it. And these smart schools, one of the core aspect of this challenge is we would be giving some 5 to 7 to 9 minute, depending on the number of submissions we actually get, to present the school principals, head of the schools, the founders, perhaps at the directorial level, who are really looking forward to expand the envelope of excellence at their academic community. So they would be presenting it to their peer. The jury would be, as it happens in the US system, the jury of your own peers. So this will be a different kind of an evaluation. It's not an evaluation, it's a knowledge sharing. You will be presenting these very, very elaborate notes. You can go as lengthy, as bulky as possible. We are all for it. But then it has to be cogent, comprehensive, and convincing. And the presentation is a very critical part of it all. And we would be having an upper cap on the number of smart schools whom we will be accrediting for the year 2024 in the name of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, who was one of the very youngest Kulpatis, the vice chancellors of the very prestigious Calcutta University, and his octate vision of education, as we have always been saying, that it formulates a very integral part of the national education policy in a lot of perspectives. So there would be a panel of experts as well from various domains of school education, but then the peers would be watching and reviewing, and you will be sharing, questioning the smartness out there. So in all, not more than 50 or 51 is the higher cap we are keeping for the smart schools accreditation for the year 2024. So the details are out on their leaflet, and you can always ping Dr. Surbhi on 9910050957. So we just felt like creating this video as a kind of exercise in interpreting as to what we are looking at it. So three pronged notes. So the honorable principal can think of formulating three committees of their very capable teachers to create these elaborate notes, interdisciplinary. So it's in the spirit of NEP as well, institutional level challenge. And so that is what we are looking at. Any questions, you just ping back, and we will be more than happy to redress them, to answer to them, and any suggestions, whatever you have. Because at Treating India, the idea always remains to charavati, to really keep on expanding the quest for knowledge. Because Bharat, as we all say, it is a land of knowledge. It has, because knowledge in itself is one of the purusharthas, it's one of the goals of the Indic traditions, not just what after knowledge. So I think that is the core crux of school education, which is focused on the foundations. So once the foundations of our young learners are set very stout and strong, they can go to any stream, any career, any discipline for that matter, and they will excel out there. So with this, we would close this, and we hope that you would really take participation in this upcoming